Alright everybody, welcome back! So of course, today for me, yesterday for when this video goes live, the new patch Sky Guardians did just go live, and with it we got a few surprise additions, including this plane right here, which is the Kurnass 2000. I am probably horribly mispronouncing that Israeli name. For my 0.1% of Israeli viewers that are watching this video, at least according to my YouTube analytics, I apologize in advance. I do not speak Hebrew, and yeah. Anyways, this aircraft right here is a pretty interesting addition. I've been wanting this plane along with the Super Phantom for quite some time. They both came out of the same Israeli program. The Super Phantom is basically this thing on massive steroids. It has the same avionics and weapons as the Kurnass 2000, but they also went ahead and gave it a more powerful engine suite. I believe it's from the F-15 as far as I'm aware, and they went ahead and lightened the airframe as well, which increases thrust-to-weight ratio. It was slightly less than the F-18 as far as I'm aware when it comes to thrust-to-weight ratio. Unfortunately, it fell through. Some people say it was because of American intervention. Some people say they just decided they wanted to go ahead and redistribute their stuff to the Lavi program, which then also fell through, unfortunately. But regardless, they did at least go ahead and take the avionics and weapons upgrades out of that and go ahead and move it on over to just their standard F4s, which they called the Kurnass. That turned into the Kurnass 2000, which has come to the game in this patch. Now, what can you expect to be different from the earlier F4E in the tech tree? So, instead of just having AIM-9Ds and AIM-9Gs, you now have AIM-9Ls as well. These, of course, are one of the best, if not the best, IR-seeking missile in the game. I would say it is the best of the short-range IR ones. That doesn't include stuff like the R-24T and R-27T. I would say it's the best out, of course, the R-60M, Magic 2, AIM-9L, that sort of bracket that we currently have. So, Magic 2 does have better flare resistance than the AIM-9L, but the extra range that the AIM-9L provides is really, really, really nice, and that's my biggest thing with it. Now, you also get the AIM-7F. You can see right here, I did go ahead and fire an AIM-9L at that F4S over there and the AIM-7F at the same time at this F-16. Unfortunately, I think my missile got flared. I can't tell 100% for sure, but regardless, the other guy dies. AIM-7F put in the work, and especially coupled with this radar, you're not really going to have any issues at all. So, compared to other aircraft that have already been in the game, like I said earlier, the EJ Kai, this radar feels just as good, if not better, and it's going to let you get in a lot of these, BVR engagements where all you can really see are the contrails. Speaking of which, great job, Gaijin. You've done an excellent job with the contrails and the mock cloud, I guess you can say, this patch. Really nice quality of life improvements. Same for the ejection seats. Those have been something I've kind of wanted for a really long time. So all we need now is vapor over the wings whenever you pull, please. Regardless, you can see I'm easily taking care of these planes. Now, these are F4S players. They're probably not the smartest, so it's not a great representation of what you're looking at, but take my word for it, the radar feels about as good, if not as good as the F-16s. Well, if not better than the F-16s, I should say. And coupled with the AIM-7F, you're not going to be having any issues doing BVR stuff against anything, except for maybe the R-27ER and Phoenix. The ER, I've heard either way. I'm not 100% sure if it has more range. I do know, really sure that it is faster up until like 30 kilometers. And of course, the Phoenix, while it is slow coming off the rail, it does have much more range. And if you let it get up to speed, it will be able to get to you. And especially since the F-14 can 180 once it fires it and not have to worry about guiding it anymore. So, regardless, compared to other stuff at this BR, the Kurnass, just like the EJ Kai, since it has 4 AIM-7Fs, it has an advantage over the F-16 in that regard. The F-16 only being able to carry 2 of them. Tomcat can carry 6 AIM-7Fs, but it doesn't get access to the AIM-9L, so you have that advantage over it. However, you still have the problem of using a last generation airframe, and you can see right here, it does work. You're able to dodge AIM-7Ms like this one from the F-16 over here, but you still have worse flight performance than the F-16s, the F-14s, and MiG-29s of the BR. So, one of the things that I would recommend doing is purposely running low on fuel. If you get small maps like I did right here on City, you can actually run minimum fuel. I actually ran 8 minutes. It's really stretching it, but considering a lot of these really tiny maps like this right here, you're only going to be fighting for 3 or 4 minutes. You're able to pull off maneuvers like I am right here. I'm able to slot him behind this F-16 using the extra turn I get from the low fuel. And he's not expecting me to already have my nose on. He's not expecting an aim-9L, and so he doesn't flare it. If he had seen it, that would have missed, of course, but regardless, still something to consider. I'm hoping this plane gets drop tanks at some point. Then you can carry drop tanks with minimum fuel in your actual tank and then drop it when you get into the battle. Either way, still keep that in mind. I wouldn't worry about burning fuel. If you can get low on fuel, I would recommend doing so, just because many people, myself included, have noticed that the Phantom turns much better at low speeds. So you can see this enemy right here. The radar still is able to be notched, and even if you can't notch the radar itself, you're still able to defeat the missile, which is looking for that speed difference. Now, I decided, you know what, let's not worry about it, and I'm going to go ahead and use what the AIM-9L has best. Remember how earlier I was saying that it has excellent range? These guys are 5 or 6 kilometers below me. They're not expecting a missile, at least the first two weren't, and so I'm able to get 2 easy kills just like that. Now, the F-14 and F-4J did notice the missiles, probably because I killed the 2 people in front of them. I maybe should have worked back to front, but either way, still a great demonstration of how the AIM-9L performs. It's an excellent missile, great range, great pull. Not great flare resistance anymore. It's probably not as flare happy as the R60M, but it's certainly much easier to flare than it used to be. And then we get to show off that flight performance I was talking about. Now the F4J has hard wings, so it's not going to be able to keep up with me in a dogfight. And minus a little bit of spraying I do, I'm able to go ahead and keep going the fight. One little trick you can do, if you saw, I did go ahead and lock up the F-14 and try and hit him with an AIM-7F while I was going for the gunshot. When you're facing superior numbers of enemy planes like I'm doing right here, that's one thing you want to try and multitask. If you can fire a missile at someone and go ahead and start shooting at someone else, it may not kill the other person, but it can at least keep them distracted until you're able to go ahead and take care of them like they did with that F-14 right there. And this is a prime example of that low fuel Phantom I was talking about. I'm sitting on 3 minutes of fuel, and even though it is kind of dangerous and I might run out of gas, I'm still able to keep up with these F-14s and F-16s. And if I was sitting here with, 15 minutes of fuel, it wouldn't even be a fight. I may not even get a gunshot. Now, last thing I want to cover before I go ahead and finish this video up. Like I said, it does have some interesting loadout options. One of the cool things with the Israeli Phantoms is they're actually able to carry sidewinders in their front base. So in theory, if you prefer the AIM-9L over having to use radar missiles, you can actually carry 6 AIM-9Ls and extra flares in the rear Sparrow base. One loadout I would recommend personally if you get a small map like this is 5 AIM-9Ls, 2 Sparrows, and 1 of the extra flare pods in the back. This right here is it's a mixed loadout. It may not be symmetrical. I don't like that personally, but it still does help. And then if you're worried about running out of countermeasures, I wouldn't really worry about it personally. You do get 90. It can be a good option to do. So feel free to play around with these loadouts. This one of the cool things is all the extra customization. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.